now. That was built about 1923, I think, in that time frame.
The first school burned down.
Yeah, the first one burnt down. I have some pictures of the first one. This is the picture of the Easton Hardware. Now it's looking up Easton Hill. So there's Easton Hill. This is Ellisburg Road. And what we were talking about, the Telly Hotel sits over this way, someplace. So it's still a dirt road. We have one gentleman here wanted to have his picture taken, so he stood still. A lot of farm implements out here. And this was the store. And there's a little shanty in here too. That's what it looks like now. When the photograph was taken before, he didn't have to worry about these trucks coming down the hill. I had to be very quick.
The Kenyon store in the Catholic Church was a barber shop.
Ah.
But it eventually became a food hall. And that's where, as a kid, I was going to get my hair cut.
That was the barber shop.
One side of the thing where the nerve and stuff was a whole bunch of shelves. And we were all lined with
How about that?
mustache cups, and they had people's names on them. They were all Irish.
Back to some old postcards. These were 1905 because the message was on the outside. But this is the McCarn house right here, and it's still there. Rob Calburn lives there now. Yeah, and his wife Trinity. Boy, what a memory I have. So we have a dirt road, and there's a fence here. This is family picture time. What was very popular back then is the family wanted to have a picture taken, and everybody would get their Sunday best clothes on and come out and to have the picture taken. So we have all the ladies here. Looks like they have their nice dresses on. There are no hats here. We have the gentleman over here. It looks like this guy has a bowler on. The grandma, I don't know if she's in a wheelchair or just sitting in a chair. There's a wheel over here, so this looks like this gentleman rode in on his bike or he's showing off his bike. Over here, we have a gentleman that's really dolled up. He has his hat on, he has his jacket on, I think there's a tie there, and his horse and buggy is probably polished up. So they're having their family portrait taken. Pretty neat. This is about 1912, the hardware store again. This is where there were apartments up here then and there are now. And this was the, what was it, the Hoffer's ice cream store was right here. And this one, it's hard to see here, but this says Edison Records. So they sold the Edison Records. This was about 1912. In those days, it was a wax cylinder that they recorded all their songs on. So they sold them in this half of the store. So the road is still dirt. Here's the boardwalk going across, and there's a bike here. And I think these were initially called safety bikes because they replaced the bikes with the great big wheel. What were they? Were they cyclopeds? I think they were called cyclopeds, where you sat very high up on the wheel on the bike, the little wheel in the front. And then they came along with the safety bikes, so everybody could go riding on Sunday afternoon. This is the way it looks today. We're all familiar with that view. Once more, this is from a postcard, and this says, this is our Sunday school class, can you find me? And I don't know, me is LWN. So this is really cool. Look here at the, I don't know why, I think the Dallas hats are really neat. Look at them all. Every one is different. And that's one down here, one here. So they had two millinery stores in Genesee, and that's where the gals went to get their hats. And the gentlemen were all dressed up also. They had the stiff collars on and their ties. And I don't know what this says, that just too blurred out. This is a high school that's sat where the present brick one is. This once more is about 1912 era. There are three fellows out here in the front. I can only say there were maybe school teachers there. They wanted to have their picture taken. And over here, I believe that looks like a basketball backstop. I think basketball was created somewhere around 1880, 1890. Anybody basketball history buff? Well, we can call it a basketball backstop. Nobody's going to argue that. This is School Street right here. This is the Methodist Church right after it was built, about 1906. The postcard says that the Genesee, PA Methodist, what's the O stand for? Church. Janet, you know. M.O. It says M.O. Church, Methodist something church. O Church. Maybe that's an E. It's an E. Methodist Episcopal. Good. Another one in the school. And there's the school the way it is now. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. And at one time it was up for sale. So, and this is, it's 102 years old right now. So it's, you can put it, I guess, in the historic registry, whatever that is. So maybe you can get a grant for that. So maybe somebody wants to buy the school. This is the map again. So this shows School Street, and here's the school we just looked at. And back here is the end of Academy Street. So this is Academy Street. So this is where Steve and Dawn lived, right here. That's their house. The purple means it's a brick structure, and the yellow means it was framed. So this is another map over here. That's the delineating line. This is from a postcard again about 1905, and it's the 3x9 club. And the gals don't have hats on. Maybe it's in the afternoon, maybe it's informal, but everybody has long dresses. The girls, they're dressed up very, very nicely. An early postcard. There's the Sacred Heart Catholic Church, and this was the parsonage. And the Easton Hardware store then was somewhere right about here. Is this the church they moved from Church Street, Darrell? Yes?
Yes.
What's that? They moved this from Church Street.
Yes.
Yes. So if you go down to Church Street, Chuck and Zana lives on the left side and Ruth and Darrell on the right. Back there, that's where this church initially was. That's why they call it Church Street, but there's no church there now. This is another picture looking up with the church there. And this building here is a very old building. Before this was painted, there was a sign out there. This was a butcher shop. So at one time this was a butcher shop. This is the area, this is the Genesee Mall, the thrift shop. Mark Elder is back here. And right here is where the New York and Pennsylvania Railroad had a branch line, and they had the produce depot right here. And this is where the tracks crossed the road. They crossed the road. Helen Dunbar used to live on the other side, and they had the freight depot over there. 1976. We're getting near the end. My hour's almost up. These are all the stores that were there in 1976. Palmeteer's Garage, Breeding School, Brother was there. John Burgess Scrape Estate, that was to the right of the hardware store. That was a gas station repair shop. We have Penn Valley Resort. We have the Arleta Butler with the fabric, Larry Wyman Masonry, George Regal Building, Dunbar Groceries, the barber shop.
Arleta.
Arleta was there with the notary,
The
John
shots.
Ransom and Son. So we need some people that are excited about history so we can go from 1976 to 2026 and fill in those 50 years so we can see what happened in 50 years. An awful lot happened, but we have to, let's record it and write it down so people know. And I want a huge thank you to Ruth and Darrell for the ice cream social, the fire company for allowing us to use the hall, the wonderful folks that brought all the memorabilia in. I really appreciate that. I have John and Mark, they helped me hang stuff up, the volunteer firemen, Nick for doing the videotaping. Maybe this will be on YouTube. And my wife Ann, this is the 4th time she's heard this spiel. And putting the flags up out here, Ruth and Dale and we did it, and Denny Madison did it, and Ruth, the name I forgot. Somebody else helped put up the flags out there. Anyway.
Dawn.
Who?
Dawn.
Dawn.
Dawn, I'm sorry, Dawn. And Dawn was out there. So, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Put the lights on again back there. You come around and look at the memorabilia, try out the telegraph set and all, and check out our history. We have a wonderful town we live in.